Good morning, philosophers. Let's get into it. I think we're going to finish out book 10 and start 11 today. Here we go. 32. That no one can say truthfully. I gotta move the mic. There we go. That no one can say truthfully that you are not a straightforward or honest person. That anyone who thinks that believes a falsehood. The responsibility is all yours. No one can stop you from being honest or straightforward. Simply resolve not to go on living if you aren't. It would be contrary to the Logos. I like that. There's always the question of not speaking versus speaking truth. Like, where's the line between when someone deserves your attention and interaction and when a piece of truth or falsehood that you encounter deserves to be ignored versus deserves to be called out? I like the straightforward quality. And this goes to, I think, my thought for today as well. All right, number 33. Given the material we're made of, what's the sanest thing that we can do or say? Whatever it may be, you can do or say it. Don't pretend that anything's stopping you. You'll never stop complaining until you feel the same pleasure that the hedonist gets from self-indulgence. Only from doing what's proper to human beings as far as circumstances, inherent or fortuitous, allow. Enjoyment means doing as much of what your nature requires as you can, and you can do that anywhere. A privilege not granted to a cylinder to determine its own action, or to water or fire or any of the other things governed by nature alone or by an irrational soul. Too many things obstruct them and get in their way, but the intellect and logos are able to make their way through anything in their path, by inborn capacity or sheer force of will. Keep before your eyes the ease with which they do this, the ease with which the Logos is carried through all things, as fire is drawn upward, or a stone falls to earth, as a cylinder rolls down an inclined plane. That's all you need. All other obstacles either affect the lifeless body or have no power to shake or harm anything unless misperception takes over, or the Logos surrenders voluntarily. Otherwise, those they obstruct would be degraded by them immediately. In all other entities, when anything bad happens to them, it affects them for the worse. Whereas here a person is improved by it, if I can put it like that, and we admire him for reacting as a person should. And keep in mind that nothing can harm one of nature's citizens except what harms the city he belongs to. And nothing harms that city except what harms its law, and there is no so-called misfortune that can do that. So long as the law is safe, so is the city and the citizen. 34. If you've immersed yourself in the principles of truth, the briefest, most random reminder is enough to dispel all fear and pain. Leaves that the wind drives earthward, such are the generations of men. Your children, leaves applauding loyally and heaping praise upon you, or turning around and calling down curses, sneering and mocking from a safe distance. A glorious reputation handed down by leaves. All of these spring up in springtime, and the wind blows them all away, and the tree puts forth others to replace them. None of us have much time, and yet you act as if things were eternal, the way you fear and long for them. Before long, darkness, and whoever buries you mourned in their turn. 35. A healthy pair of eyes should see everything that can be seen, and not say, "No, too bright," which is a symptom of ophthalmia. A healthy sense of hearing or smell should be prepared for any sound or scent. A healthy stomach should have the same reaction to all foods as a mill to what it grinds. So too a healthy mind should be prepared for anything, the one that keeps saying, "Are my children all right?" or everyone must approve of me, is like eyes that can only stand pale colors or teeth that can only handle mush. Interesting. I don't think the beginning stuff made sense, but that last part about a healthy mind, that's good. So too, a healthy mind should be prepared for anything. The one that keeps saying, "Are my children all right?" or "Everyone must approve of me," is like eyes that can only stand pale colors, or teeth that can handle only mush. 36. It doesn't matter how good a life you've led. That's a valid contraction? There'll? Is this guy a Texan? There'll still be people standing around the bed who will welcome the sad event. Even with the intelligent and good, won't there be someone thinking, "Finally, to be through with that old school teacher, even though he never said anything, you could always feel him judging you." And that's for a good man. How many traits do you have that would make a lot of people glad to be rid of you? Remember that when the time comes, you'll be less reluctant to leave if you can tell yourself, "This is the sort of life I'm leaving. Even the people around me, the ones I spent so much time fighting for, praying over, caring about, even they want me gone, in hopes that it will make their own lives easier. How could anyone stand a longer stay here?" And yet, don't leave angry with them. Be true to who you are, caring, sympathetic, kind, and not as if you were being torn away from life, but the way it is when someone dies peacefully, how the soul is released from the body. That's how you should leave them. It was nature that bound you to them, that tied the knot, and nature that now unties you. I am released from those around me, not dragged against my will, but unresisting. There are things that nature demands, and this is one of them. 37. Learn to ask of all actions, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Starting with your own. 38. Remember that what pulls the strings is within, hidden from us. Is speech, is life, is the person. Don't conceive of the rest as part of it, the skin that contains it and the accompanying organs, I can't talk all of a sudden, which are tools like a carpenter's axe, except that they're attached to us from birth, and are no more use without what moves and holds them still than the weaver's shuttle, the writer's pencil, the driver's whip. That is the end of Book 10. We are almost done with this book. Book 11. Number 1. Characteristics of the rational soul. Self-perception, self-examination, and the power to make of itself whatever it wants. It reaps its own harvest, unlike plants, and, in a different way, animals, whose yield is gathered in by others. It reaches its intended goal, no matter where the limit of its life is set. Not like dancing and theater and things like that, where the performance is incomplete if it's broken off in the middle, but at any point, no matter which one you pick, it has fulfilled its mission, done its work completely, so that it can say, "I have what I came for." It surveys the world and the empty space around it, and the way it's put together. I think I know part of my... I'm like 2 hours short on sleep today, so that's part of my issue. I decided too late that I needed to get up early because I got a lot going on today. It surveys the world and the empty space around it, and the way it's put together. It delves into the endlessness of time to extend its grasp and comprehension of the periodic births and rebirths that the world goes through. It knows that those who come after us will see nothing different, that those who came before us saw no more than we do, and that anyone with 40 years behind him and eyes in his head has seen both past and future, both alike. Also characteristic of the rational soul, affection for its neighbors, truthfulness, humility, not to place anything above itself, which is characteristic of law as well. No difference here between the logos of rationality and that of justice. 2. To acquire indifference to pretty singing, to dancing, to the martial arts. Analyze the melody into the notes that form it, and as you hear each one, ask yourself whether you're powerless against that. That should be enough to deter you. The same with dancing, individual movements, and tableau. And the same with the martial arts. And with everything, except virtue and what springs from it. Look at the individual parts and move from analysis to indifference. Apply this to life as a whole. The resolute soul. Number 3, the resolute soul. Resolute in separation from the body, and then in dissolution or fragmentation or continuity. But the resolution has to be the result of its own decision, not just in response to outside forces like the Christians. It has to be considered and serious, persuasive to other people, without dramatics. Number 4. Have I done something for the common good? Then I share in the benefits. To stay centered on that, not to give up. 5. And your profession? Goodness. And how is that to be achieved except by thought about the world, about the nature of people? 6. First, tragedies, to remind us of what can happen, and that it happens inevitably. And if something gives you pleasure on that stage, it shouldn't cause you anger on this one. You realize that these are things we all have to go through, and that even those who cry aloud, "Oh, Mount Kithaeron," have to endure them. And some excellent lines as well. These, for example: "If I and my 2 children cannot move the gods must have their reasons." Or, "And why should we feel anger at the world?" And, "To harvest life like standing stalks of grain," and many good others. Then, after tragedy, old comedy, instructive in its frankness, its plain speaking designed to puncture pretensions. Diogenes used the same tactic for similar ends. Then consider the middle, and later the new comedy and what it aimed at, gradually degenerating into mere realism and empty technique. There are undeniably good passages, even in those writers. But what was the point of it all, the script and staging alike? 7. It stares you in the face. No role is so well suited to philosophy as the one you happen to be in right now. 8. A branch cut away from the branch beside it is simultaneously cut away from the whole tree. So too, a human being separated from another is cut loose from the whole community. The branch is cut off by someone else, but people cut themselves off through hatred, through rejection, and don't realize that they're cutting themselves off from the whole civic enterprise. Except that we also have a gift given us by Zeus, who founded this community of ours. We can reattach ourselves and become once more components of the whole. But if the rupture is too often repeated, it makes the severed part hard to reconnect and to restore. You can see the difference between the branch that's been there since the beginning, remaining on the tree and growing with it, and the one that's been cut off and grafted back. One trunk, 2 minds, as the gardeners put it. 9. As you move forward in the Logos, people will stand in your way. They can't keep you from doing what's healthy. Don't let them stop you from putting up with them either. Take care on both counts. Not just sound judgments, solid actions, tolerance as well, for those who try to obstruct us or give us trouble in other ways. Because anger too is weakness, as much as breaking down and giving up the struggle. Both are deserters, the man who breaks and runs, and the one who lets himself be alienated from his fellow humans. All right, gonna stop there for today. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out a problem today, and I don't know if this problem applies to anybody. I guess it would. It would apply to anybody that has encountered like a problem person in social circles or in public life or professional life. There's a lot to be said for a default strategy of ignore idiots and wrong people. You know, don't give them too much attention. Don't give them too much of your attention. We should be expecting that there's going to be wrong people out there. That's part of Stoicism that we're reading right now. Like to expect there not to be wrong people out there, wildly wrong people with really bad ideas out there. To expect those people not to exist is to be detached from reality. Like those people have to, sort of, they're going to exist as part of reality. So we should expect to encounter some of them. The question is how to deal with them. Because on one side, ignoring them, not giving them attention, not wasting your attention on them, not wasting your time on them and brain power on them is the right strategy a lot of the time. On the other hand, if they start leading other people towards their terrible ideas, then it sort of becomes like it can sort of begin to affect you and those you care about and the world around you, which you do have some interest in protecting. And so the next level of engagement is probably spending time attacking the ideas that they're putting forward and not so much the people, because it's the ideas that are the problem. But even that is still sort of an indirect attack on the bad ideas. But then you also have the people that are not just espousing bad ideas, but they might actually be dangerous bad people in and of themselves. And at what point, where's the line beyond which... So on one side, you don't want to just go around constantly stirring up drama. But on the other side, I think it's a good thing to make sure people know about the bad actors so that they're able to protect themselves and know about it. That's important for at least me and my friends. Like, I'm going to tell my friends if I know somebody's dangerous or untrustworthy or bad actor types, Like, I would want my friends to tell me, so I'm going to tell them. Okay, but what about on the larger stage when you're outside of your personal circles? Like, on one hand, you don't want to just go around constantly stirring up drama, talking crap about other people, even if it's valid crap to be talking. But on the other hand, there are some dangerous, manipulative people out there. And I might be able to save some people some heartache and trouble by calling the bad actors out. So yeah, it's just the thing I'm trying to think about today, the thing I'm trying to figure out today is where that line should be. If you guys have any ideas on that, I'm totally open to hearing your ideas. Where should that line be between not stirring up drama, not wasting your time, or not spending your time? I don't know if it's a waste, but not spending your time on it. Where's the line that across which there's somebody that's espousing ideas that are bad enough that they deserve your time and attention and the drama that comes with calling somebody out publicly? You know what I'm saying? I don't like that drama. I don't want that to be what my platforms are about. But at the same time, some of it needs to happen. Somebody's got to do it. Nobody has to do it, but I think it's really important that somebody does it. And if nobody else is doing it, well, maybe that's me. I just got to figure out when it's appropriate. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'm going to go have a busy day, and I will see you tomorrow.